Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
Good morning. It is Coffee and here on ON, AM, and FM. It's Tuesday, July the 8th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. Let's say good morning to Linda Tebow. Hi, Linda.
Good morning.
And Ed Carew for the Carew Investment Group. Hi, Ed.
Hello there, Joe. Hello, everyone.
And our first segment sponsor of Coffee and is the Carew Investment Group. So, Ed, first message, please.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group. The Carew Investment Group, phone's number is 765-8880, and we have some simple advice about investing. Well, the truth is, there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and trends lasting for days, weeks, and months long, they're gone. Sometimes trends last for only part of a day before changing direction. And investing is not an activity for those who can't take the time to study each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, we've seen them all, and we'll invest for you the same way we invest for ourselves. Carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with us. So give us a call at 765-8880. Our office is conveniently located at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3 in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Ed. Now, did I get let me see if I got this right from yesterday, because the president, put the hammer down about tariffs, and saying, if we don't have a deal by Friday, you're really going to get slammed, or something along those lines. And then the stock market went down yesterday afternoon. Is that correct?
The stock market was down yesterday.
Oh,
yes.
the whole day?
Yeah.
I just want to know if it was because of what Trump was saying.
No, and he extended the deadline till August 1st.
Yeah.
For what? Tariffs?
Tariffs.
Okay. All right. I thought it was this Friday for some reason.
Well, it was, and then
he moved it again?
It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to say something different now? Oh, okay. All right.
We'll give you more time.
We'll give you more. August, I forgot what it was.
August 1st, he said.
August 1st. Yeah.
But he did increase the tariff on 14 countries.
Okay.
And don't ask me what they
Why?
are.
But just
because
he can. All right.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. It's like he's giving TikTok. TikTok's going to be sold, and he keeps moving out the date
Right.
of when it's going to be sold. So same thing with the tariffs.
Yeah.
All right, Ed. I don't know if you can answer this question. I don't know if you can answer the question. I don't know if you want to answer the question.
There you go.
I don't know if you can answer the question quickly, in a nutshell.
Wow.
But I'm seeing a lot of stuff online from your so-called experts. Okay. That says
my experts?
other money experts.
Oh, those idiots.
Those,
okay.
Yes, those.
All right.
The expert. Right.
That's right.
So-called
The
experts.
talking heads.
The talking heads that say they're all behind. You should retire at 62.
That's crazy.
Okay, there's the answer to my question. But I'm seeing a lot of that.
Okay.
And so,
Why? Why are they saying that?
well, you get your money earlier.
Well, sure you do.
Yeah, you get less money.
And you get it longer.
But you get it over a longer period of
Right.
time, so it balances out.
Yeah,
That's
by
basically the big
time-
pro.
Yeah, that's great. Only problem is that if you retire at 62 and don't get another job, some people will retire from the job that they're in and they'll get another job.
Okay.
That kind of like
Screws things
beyond
up.
me, but that's okay. I never really understood that one, unless you really hate your job. But it's okay. You want to retire early. You're in good health. You're concerned that you might not live long enough to collect at 70 years old or 72 years old. Okay, I understand all that. Only thing is, what if you're wrong and you don't die, and you're 80 years old or 82 or 85, and now you're not able, your pension or your Social Security is so small, might be adequate for today, but in 15 or 20 years, it most probably will not be adequate because it's only going to go up by the cost of living adjustment,
Right.
which is not enough to keep up with inflation.
Okay.
So, somewhere along the line, I think they'll have a financial problem.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I wanted to bring it up because I'm seeing. Oh, there's a lot of people saying this. I go, let's ask Ed.
I don't think you need to wait until you're 72 or 73. because you have to start taking your required minimum distribution at 73. I
Do
don't
you?
think.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be 70. Now it's up to 73. I don't think that you have to wait till then to retire. If somebody wants to retire at 68 or 69 or something like that, well, that makes perfect sense to me. Your pension or your Social Security increases by a certain percentage every year while you're working. So you keep deferring it. When you do retire, you at least want to wait till what is called your full retirement age, which for most people is 67 and a half.
67?
Or 66 and a half, something like that. Depends on when you were born.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad we got the straight poop there from Ed. So it went well. So great. And it's funny because before we got here, Linda, I was talking with Ed off the air, and I said, nothing crazy happened down in your neck of the woods. But then he corrected me, and something did happen.
Middleborough,
And it's an unfortunate story of the man that was at. I didn't realize he was from Middleborough, but he was at Wareham Beach and setting off fireworks, and I guess he decided to look over the fireworks because something didn't go off, and then exploded in his face.
Yeah.
And it says, "Oh yeah, that man's from." Was from Middleborough. I said, "Oh, all right." So there we go. We got our one crazy story out of the Bermuda Triangle down there of Massachusetts, right, Ed? And that whole
Republic.
The
Lakeville.
Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Gotta get that
There
right.
really is a Bridgewater Triangle.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look it up on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I'm not Facebook, but look it up
On
online.
Google or something like
Really?
Yeah, Google it. Yeah.
that. All right. We didn't get to this yesterday, but let's get to it today. Linda,
Yes.
3 players from the Boston Red Sox are going to the All-Star game.
Yes, I saw
As well
that.
they should. Garrett Crochet, starting
Yeah,
pitcher.
yeah.
Our oldest Chapman, closer.
Closer.
And but then the third one is
Bregman.
is Alex Bregman, which just leads you to believe how this is such a popularity contest.
I mean,
He got hurt in early May.
he hasn't played.
Hasn't
most
played.
Of, the most of the
And
year.
yeah, in past years, yes, he has been an All-Star.
Yeah.
When he played,
Right, but he
But-
hasn't played.
but he hasn't
That
played, but
was
now
my
he-
thought exactly.
but he's still
why.
going.
Yeah.
People just they recognize the name. People voting. Let's say they're in the Midwest. Oh yeah, Bregman's great,
Yeah.
and don't realize he's hurt because he's playing in Boston.
Well, he is great.
He's a great
He
player.
is great when
yeah.
he plays. Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
not upset, just concerned that because I thought Rafaela, the Cedon, should be an
Oh
all-star.
my. Yeah.
Especially looking over the last month, June, he was
Oh
just
my God, he's
spectacular.
been
He can
awesome.
hit, and
Right.
he's awesome in the outfield.
Yes, he
I'm like,
is.
boy, he really should go. Maybe he still will. There's always players that come up and say, "Oh, I can't make it," or "Oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to go," or something
Right,
like that.
yeah.
And the manager, has got to pick. So
Well, you wonder if Bregman would even play anyways, because I think he's coming back.
they still haven't
and
given a
this-
date.
No, but
Yeah.
that's, I mean, how can he play?
Well, it's still, what is it? The
8th today.
A couple weeks away, I think.
Yeah.
It's next week.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always it's like the 15th
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
That must be the All-Star game. And so, and I keep saying, well, maybe Bregman will play for Boston before the All-Star break comes and
Well,
see how he's
yeah, it
how's he
sounded
doing.
like what they
That's
were
what he
talking
wants
about
to
last
do.
night, that
Yeah.
he's
That
coming.
he's going to come back sometime this week.
Yeah, it
Okay.
sounded like it, huh? Yeah.
Masataka,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And Masataka's been down in Worcester.
Yeah. He's
Doing
supposed to come back this week.
doing
too.
okay, but I hear Bregman's not going to go do any rehab games. We're just going to throw him right back in there.
Right back in
Yeah,
there.
like, oh well, okay.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I mean, the guy knows how
Yeah.
to play. You say he's been an all-star.
Yeah.
He's not going to face the caliber of pitching in the minors that he
Right.
does up here.
No.
No, but it's close. And just
Yeah.
you want to get your timing back to hitting the ball.
He's, well, I don't know. I'm
I
sure
think-
that those pitching machines that can pitch,
Yeah,
however
very high.
this pitcher pitches and that
Yeah.
guy and,
Mm-hmm.
and all the different cut.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty close.
Yeah.
See, this is why he doesn't want to go to Worcester. Ready? I don't know if you know this. There's an unwritten rule that when a major league player comes down to play either AAA or AA, they buy dinner for the entire team every day.
Really?
Every day.
Every day. I think it's every day. Or maybe it's once they're
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
But it's still 28 guys. So it's a $3,000 check
Make a lot
coming
of
your
money,
way.
though.
What's that?
They make a lot of
I
money.
know. That's why they do it. And they say, "Oh yeah, you go have the Capitol Grill. Bring in the steaks." Great. And the minor league players look forward to this because the real food's coming.
Really? Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
Bregman's just trying to get out of doing
Oh,
that.
there you go. That's your conspiracy
That's a
theory.
Conspiracy
if I ever
theory.
heard
No,
one.
I don't want to throw out that kind of cash. What are you kidding? It's all tied up. I'm worried about tariffs, you
I
know?
didn't realize that was a thing.
That's the
that they
thing.
did.
Yeah. No, I went down when they were down in Pawtucket. It was a thing, and it's
Really?
it's still
Yeah.
a thing that they.
Did you get to get one too, though? And-
No,
Oh,
no. It's just for the clubhouse people.
just-
Bought him a hot dog.
Yeah, I could get those for free. so.
They owe hot dogs left over on a grill.
All right, we have another note that was called in 766-1240, and it's just it's about the tragedy in Texas. With all the advanced technology we have today at our disposal with oncoming weather systems, this should not have happened. We all find someone to blame in the aftermath. However, this could have and should have been avoided. Well, he got 80 people are dead. Well, it's up over 100 now.
Yeah.
Because of improper and poor notification and preparation.
Well, I
Well,
thought they,
well, from what I've
shut
heard-
off that satellite, that weather thing, didn't they?
Well, from what I heard,
They.
yeah, the warnings came down at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Hey, the systems come together, and this is what's happening.
People
but
are
they're all sleeping
Everybody's sleeping.
until it's too late.
Yeah.
And so, is that part true? Should they have been warned earlier? Well, I don't know. I don't follow the weather that close.
You
so-
know, I've heard that some people were making an issue that the weather satellite one of them had been turned down, but
Really?
yeah,
All right.
but it's 100-year storm.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's unheard of, that a
Well,
river crests that high
yeah,
in such
it's
a
such a short amount of
time.
time.
The river rose 20 feet
20
in 2 hours.
In 2 hours. I mean,
I thought it
that's
was even less than that, but okay.
that's unheard of.
Yeah.
That, I mean, around here, the crest is 9, and if it goes up to 13 or 14, everybody's like, "Whoo!"
Yeah.
You know.
And so, and we had it on our national news,
And
'cause-
so unfortunate, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
So
Absolutely.
a real tragedy.
And we had it on our national news, and some people, because like it says in the note here, we're going to find someone to blame. Well, we might as well blame Trump.
Well, that's what I had heard, that because he had said he was going to shut off, was it NOAA, the satellite, the weather satellite, and it was shut off, and
But it wasn't shut off.
but I'm saying that's what
Yeah.
was said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was referring
And
to.
I read the story yesterday. I don't know if you read it. There's a pediatrician, I think she's a pediatrician in Texas, who posted on X that this was all Trump's fault.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because of the satellite.
She's been fired.
I would say.
You know,
yeah.
you can post on social media, all you want,
Yeah.
but there are consequences to what you say.
Yeah.
And some companies, monitor what you do on your page. And just because it's your page doesn't mean you're immune to what they might want to
Right.
do. You can't make you can't make the company look bad and go against the company principle. So they'll let you go.
Right. Right.
You agree with that, Ed?
Yes.
Okay. So you didn't have to worry about this when you were in the supermarket with your employees
was
there.
no-
there was
there
there
was
There
no
was
social
no.
media.
There was.
No.
They could have write stuff down on their book covers and books.
That's right. Yeah.
But that never went anywhere. So, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part of the hiring process now at bigger places.
They check you. Yeah.
First, they check your social media before they hire you.
Right, they
It's-
check
Make
your-
sure you're not doing
yeah.
something stupid.
Yeah.
and then afterwards, like, be careful about what you post.
People don't get it.
And
People don't get it. In the written word, people don't get it. Once you write it down, once it goes out, it's in their record.
Well, yeah.
A permanent record, and
When
the
I,
world knows about it.
I worked for the Pawtucket Red Sox. I didn't work
Yes.
for the Worcester Red Sox.
Yeah.
But the last 2 years, my job at the Worcester Red Sox was taken over by Major League Baseball. So I was actually an employee of Major League Baseball, which I always thought
that was so cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we got pages and pages of do's and don'ts for social media, all concerning Major League Baseball. Can't talk about the team. Can't talk about what you know. Certainly don't put anything out there. Like, you might get inside information, like a player might be hurt that everyone doesn't know about yet. Well,
Right.
you can't text that out.
No.
And they monitor you, and you'd be fired on
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
they were very, very big on that. All right, we're going to take our first break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way, but it is time for a second message from the Carew Investment Group. Ed?
Okay, thanks again, Joe. Good morning again, everyone. Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for a quality, conservative approach to investing, call us at 765-8880. Integrity, trust, and service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Thanks, Ed. And more Coffee Ants coming up. Give us a call if you want a comment or question read on the air. 766-1240.
ON Radio.
The S. DePardo Memorial Chapel Funeral Home provides a comfortable and welcoming environment because they believe that funeral arrangements should ease your burden, not add to them. The staff at the S. DePardo Memorial Chapel Funeral Home will work with you to individualize the life of the deceased and help you plan a personal tribute while guiding you through all phases of the process. For information about pre-planning and cremation, please call 767-5577. The S. DePardo Memorial Chapel Funeral Home, 1583 Diamond Hill Road, Woonsocket.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at tmobile.com.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
You hear it all on ON Radio.
It's Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. And just taking a look, the Rhode Island State Police, along with the 38 other police departments in the state, sent out their statistics for how things were over the 4th of July weekend. And between noon on last Thursday and 6 a.m. Sunday, the police departments made 57 arrests of people driving under the influence. Wow. All right. I don't know how that compares to last year. They don't give us those numbers. But 57, I guess it's not bad.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What are you comparing? Yeah, we don't know.
Well, it's not 3 digits, so let's. I'm happy with that.
Well, right.
It's not,
yeah.
It's not.
Well, remember we had weather too. We had weather
Yeah,
this weekend
yeah, and
that
that
probably
okay.
dampened some of that traveling.
The state police did conduct 471 vehicle stops for traffic violations, and there were 30 crashes.
Wow.
You know, the small fender bender kind of things. So, okay. That took place. And over in Burrillville, the Burrillville Police Department has released body camera footage of a man arrested because the man pointed a gun at the police officer.
I saw that
Like,
on the news, yeah.
That's never a good thing.
Never.
Like, oh, what is this man thinking? Nicholas Smith faces charges that include assault with a dangerous weapon, possession of a firearm while intoxicated, and resisting arrest in the July 3rd incident. Police then went in. They recovered several guns and extended magazines from Smith's home. He's being arraigned today. So, wow. Yeah, that's never, never a good thing when you answer the door and the gun's already out.
And if he was intoxicated.
He's lucky he wasn't shot.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like, wow. Yeah. All right. And all right, Ed, this involves Massachusetts.
What did we do?
This is
now?
the state has begun releasing defendants because there's a work stoppage
Yeah.
by court-appointed attorneys. They're basically on strike.
Really?
Yeah, 6 defendants were ordered released yesterday in Boston Municipal Court because they've been stuck in jail without access to a lawyer. 2 of them, however, will remain in custody. They have warrants on them for other counties, maybe like Worcester County or something like that. But the other 4, we'll see you later.
Did they say what the
crimes were?
Yeah, what were their crimes?
No, that I
It was in
don't
the
know.
news this morning. Was a drug charge.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Drug possession, drug selling.
Well, they didn't go into detail,
Details
but
over
he
that.
said it was drug related.
Okay.
And he said that had he been allowed to have a public defender, which is the thing, the
Yeah.
public defenders aren't taking on new clients because they say they're not being paid enough.
Yeah, the low pay.
Oh.
Right, so that was the story there. But he said that his crime was so minor that he would have been released that
Anyway.
same day, and he spent a week incarcerated
Yeah.
because there was nobody there.
Wow.
So his rights were violated.
Okay. So
Aha.
who decides how the court-appointed attorneys get paid? Obviously, they're paid by the state. But who in the state determines what they get paid?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Attorney General?
I don't know.
I don't know. So, and
That
who's
would make sense. They would
who sets the
go
rate?
into that, though. Public defenders.
Well, the state, someone has to pay them. So,
Yeah.
and they just say they don't say what the pay rate is. They just says it's low.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think historically public defenders don't get rich. They
Oh,
don't
no.
make a lot of money. They don't.
No.
That's why they're,
and they're
public
overburdened
defense.
with a lot of cases.
They
I'm sure
are?
too.
I'm sure.
Especially with ICE rounding everybody up. But,
Yeah.
And then speaking of ICE agents arrested a man in Cranston. It was a Brazilian national. He's been living in the country illegally, and he's now facing deportation charges. He was convicted on 2 counts of second-degree child molestation, sexual assault. But I don't know where he was convicted. Does that mean he was convicted in Brazil, or was he convicted here in the States?
I don't think it matters, does it? Well, I mean, it matters, but
If
You-
if it happened here, why isn't he in jail? And if
Yeah.
it happened in Brazil, okay, I can see. Well, now we're sending you back.
send him out.
And
Yeah.
say go.
No matter what, that was a nasty crime.
Well, yeah. I forget where I saw it. It was in Boston. ICE agents wanted to arrest a restaurant manager, and the people were rallying around him because, well, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Maybe that was in Rhode Island. I forget where I saw that story.
I remember saying that, and
Yeah.
I thought, the focus was going to be on bad guys.
the criminal. Well, maybe he is a
the criminal.
Well, maybe
Who
he's
knows?
where
We
he came
don't know.
from.
That's what I mean. You don't know.
And he came to the States, and
don't
he's made
know.
a good life for himself. Well,
Right.
okay, good. But
Yeah.
what did you do back in the old country? So,
Yeah. And how
you know.
long ago was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. I heard Dave read this story, and I'm like, one of those things where, no, gee, that's, again, it sounds so Rhode Island. All right. So, the Mount Hope Bridge in Bristol,
Yeah.
okay? They're going to get a temporary fix. So, right off the bat, Ed, it's so Rhode Island. We're not going to get a good fix or a permanent fix. We're going to get a temporary fix.
And it's going to cost over $1 million.
Is it?
That it was what when they were interviewing the man, and I can't remember what his title was, but said, "Yeah, we have a bid for $1.1 million,
That's the low bid.
but put that towards the permanent fix."
I know. The patchwork deck will be resurfaced.
Right.
With I love this. Ready? With an ultra thin overlay. Great. Cars and trucks are going over this. Ultra thin overlay, which is expected to provide a smoother ride for about 5 years.
Maybe.
That's right. I'm going to say it's okay
They said maybe.
Until the cost of replacing it doubles.
until there's a hole in it. Yeah.
And they have a really, I thought, a very clever. They were going to use the permanent way that they did on a bridge in Canada, that they do sections at a time until the whole thing is done.
Okay.
But you'd think put that $1 million towards the permanent fix.
And we have to close the bridge for 4 days.
Yes.
To do this.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, there's not many bridges to pick from down in that area. How
No.
how do you get from Bristol to?
I don't know.
Portsmouth.
See, I don't know that. How do you?
You go over the Mount Hope Bridge. There isn't a second
Well, no,
one.
that's what I mean. You get out a canoe or,
Well, you end
or
up,
take a ferry.
you end up going all the way around, which will take you another hour.
Right,
And
okay.
come up through
Yeah,
Newport.
yeah.
And pay the price to go over the Newport Bridge. So.
Yeah.
That's
It's
it.
a
There's your
money
conspiracy.
making thing, huh? All right. And it also doesn't say when it's going to start. It doesn't say who's paying for this. Is this a Bristol thing, or is this? I'm assuming it's going to be the state, because the Rhode Island Turnpike and Bridge Authority is in on
It's
this.
the Bridge Authority.
Yeah,
The gal
so it's
was-
coming from the state.
It's coming from the state. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to fix it permanently. We want to we're putting in a Band-Aid on the bridge, and don't worry, it should be fine. Make you scratch your head.
Yeah.
Like, all right. It even says in the headline, temporary fix.
Right, and,
How about a
that
permanent
was
fix?
that was my reaction when I heard that on the news. I was like, really, you know?
Speaking of that, you know what I saw online? I did not purchase this, but you can get T-shirts, and it says the Washington Bridge Racing Team, stuck in traffic since 2022. All right, someone's thinking. And it's a bunch of cars and then the bridge, and they're not going anywhere. It's all very cartoonish.
Yeah.
I said, oh, that's pretty funny. So-
That is somebody's taking advantage of a situation to make a few bucks. Good
Yep.
for them.
So the heat advisory is here in Rhode Island and
Yeah.
in Massachusetts. You can't go, let's go to another state and it'll be better there.
No.
Nope, it's all over the place.
It's all over.
Unless you're going out to the Berkshires in Massachusetts or to the South Coast or down to the Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. South County is supposed to be, they're exempt from the heat advisory too. Obviously, that's where the ocean is. And so it's got to be high humidity, feel like near 100. Stay out of the heat.
Yeah,
Be in the air
but
conditioned
this
rooms.
morning it looked like the whole state was in the heat
the whole
advisory,
thing?
even the coast.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Even the coast.
All right, and then it brings us to another sad story, where a 9-year-old boy from Pawtucket passes away. He was in some kind of distress. He was at a beach in Dartmouth, and it says he was swimming by himself. I'm sorry, that was wrong. He had been swimming, and he got himself out of the water, so he didn't drown. But they didn't go grab him from the water. He got out of the water, and then basically, I'm going to make an assumption here, and just collapsed on the beach.
Yeah.
And the bystanders were administering CPR, before the police arrived, and they brought him to St. Luke's Hospital in New Bedford. He was on Jones Beach in Dartmouth. So, in Dartmouth to New Bedford is not a real quick ride,
No,
by the way. And that's where he was pronounced dead at the hospital.
Yeah.
It
What
doesn't-
beach was he at?
Jones Beach in Dartmouth.
Dartmouth.
Any idea where that?
No.
Have you ever been to
No.
that one?
No.
no.
I haven't either.
Just wondering where would have been the closest hospital.
Yeah.
I think it's where they went.
Really?
Probably.
'Cause
New
if-
Bedford?
It's either New Bedford, Fall River,
Fall River has Charlton.
okay, or you go up 24 to Brockton. I don't
But
think
that
there's-
would be a long way.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything in between. Between
Okay.
Dartmouth and
Oh,
and
maybe
up
it is
there.
the closest
Maybe
one.
it is.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Well, the
immediately
thing
thought
is,
of-
when they pick up, they have to go to the closest. They have to go to the closest one.
Especially if it's
th-
such a distress like this.
But you know what? People don't realize. You get all these heat advisories
Mm-hmm.
and warnings and everything. People don't realize how dangerous heat can be, and they just say, "Yeah, I'm good. I can do this." No, you can't. And even if you're at the beach.
Well, what are the symptoms?
Well, first of all,
Like
you
heat,
start getting dizzy.
tired? Okay.
Dizzy, maybe nausea,
Mm-hmm.
maybe feeling, like you're going to vomit. And then, your body starts shutting down, so it is very dangerous. And especially for young kids and older people especially because, so many people are on many medicines that can make that even worse.
You think that would happen though at like noontime, 2 in the afternoon?
Well,
and this
usually-
happened at 7:30 at night.
Yeah, and that's unusual. But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're going to find out that child had some pre-existing
Okay.
circumstances
Yeah.
that made it worse.
and may have been in the sun all day.
Exactly.
Possibly.
And
just because it was 7:30 at night doesn't mean it's cold.
no,
Right.
exactly. You've been out there all day, and people don't realize. Well, I'm at the beach, and yeah, you are. But if you're on the hot sand,
Yeah.
And yes, you can go in the water, and the
It cools you off a
temperature's
little.
going to cool you down
Yeah.
a little.
The sun's still out.
But the sun is still out.
Yeah.
You know,
Beating down on
and young kids, if he could have had a pre-existing, and they tend to, they play hard.
Kids do.
Kids do, because that's what kids do.
Yeah.
And that's a very sad,
It is very sad.
situation. Sad. So pay attention, people.
All right,
Hydrate, stay in the shade.
But don't drink the ocean water.
Don't drink the ocean water.
All right, we got to take a break here in the Coffee and program. More is coming your way. Time for the forecast being brought to you by Amazon Prime Day.
The National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for temperatures of 91 and heat index values of 103 degrees because of the humidity, and a flood watch in effect from 2 p.m. this afternoon through late tonight for flash flooding possibilities. Some of the thunderstorms in our forecast today could bring in 1 to 2 inches of rain inside of an hour, and that would produce flooding, so be advised. National Weather Service flood watch and heat advisory. Otherwise, it'll be a partly sunny day today and hot. The chance of rain is only 40%, but if it comes, it could be plenty. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies with an overnight low of 69, a 50% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies and 79 with a 40% chance of a shower. Thursday, cloudy skies, high as 76. Friday, mostly cloudy and 81. Saturday, partly sunny and 85 with a calm wind. Sunday, mostly sunny and 85. And next Monday, partly sunny and 85 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, sunny, hot, muggy, and 77 degrees. The wait is over. Prime Day is here. And this year, it's lasting 4 days. That's 4 days of great deals on all of the things you love. The countdown is on. Oh, I knew I was going to screw it up, Ed. The countdown is over. Shop Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th.
Whether you own a restaurant or an auto repair shop, you need as many customers as you can get. Every business does. Don't limit yourself to one newspaper. Get the power of 2 daily newspapers for the price of 1. The Blackstone Valley's Call and Times deliver customers from all over the valley with just one phone call. Phone 767-8500 for twice the effectiveness over twice the area. The Call and the Times. When it comes to emergency service for plumbing and heating, you can't beat C.J. Nemus, 37 Corey Street in Woonsocket. C.J. Nemus offers over 15 years of experience and is licensed in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. C.J. Nemus offers complete heating system service, plumbing, water heaters, plus drain and sewer cleaning. Remember that senior citizens receive a 10% discount. So give Charlie a call today at C.J. Nemus, 769-4776. They're registered with the Better Business Bureau. They're a master plumber with quality service. It's the only way and the best way. With C.J. Nemus, call today, 769-4776 for C.J. Nemus.
On ON Radio.
All right, it's Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. So we got good news, Ed, out of Massachusetts.
Oh, right.
Yes, major crimes in Mass were down nearly 4.5% for 2024 compared to the previous year. Well, that's good. Down is good. Based on data from sources including the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program, murders, robberies, burglaries, aggravated assaults, and motor vehicle thefts all declined.
Wow.
That's very good.
On the other side, though, anti-Semitic hate crimes spiked over 20%.
Yeah.
Things going on the college campuses. There were 438 incidents statewide, including vandalism, verbal or written harassment, or threats in anti-Semitic gatherings. So that was going on there in Massachusetts. But good that the big crime things are down. So that's good. I have not heard anything. Maybe you have, Linda. We had that car that crashed into the City Star convenience store.
Yeah.
On 4th of July.
Yeah.
City Star. It's over on the corner
Yeah.
of Winter Street in North Main.
Used to be a little general.
Used to be a Little General. That's right. Where Little General used to be.
Hubbard, I went.
But Have you heard any word on what might have caused it?
No.
Could have been a medical emergency.
Yeah.
If you looked at the picture, it looks like you might one of those where I hit the gas
I
instead
hit
of the
this
brake
setup,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But there could have been a medical emergency involved. But I haven't heard of anything since then.
Yeah.
And closed those guys down though. Which is
Yes, they did.
Too bad. So
Yeah.
they got some stuff to fix over there. So on the national scene, Linda, tick bites are spiking. Emergency room visits for tick bites are nearing record levels. So early this summer, but we're already at record levels this summer across the United States. The CDC says July, and we're only on July 8th, has seen the highest number of tick-related ER visits in 8 years.
Wow.
People under 10 and over 70 have the highest rate of ER visits. Now, under 10 I can understand.
Yeah. But
They're
over
out
70.
running through the woods.
Well, they're,
rolling
and
around
they're
in the grass.
playing in the grass,
Yeah.
playing in the leaves.
So that I can
yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Over 70, that one's a little tougher.
That's a little surprising.
Yeah, but they get the highest rate of ER visits. The CDC adds the Northeast is right here.
Yeah.
We're reporting the most cases.
Right. Well, the thing is, though, a lot of people over 70, contrary to what people might think, they are out and about. They're
Okay.
walking, they're running, that type of thing. They're working in the yard.
Gardening.
Gardening
Like you
or
so they're
raking-
down in the dirt and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
raking up leaves, and that's
Yeah,
where
raking up leaves. Yeah.
raking up leaves. That's where they like to be. Ticks, they do. So I first thought you say over 70, but over 70 still
That
does
was your
lots
thought.
of stuff.
Okay, well, good for them.
Right, Ed?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people over 70 do a lot of walking, a lot
Walking,
more
yeah.
than somebody who's 40 or 50.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
that's their form
Yeah.
of exercise, not so much as
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
other
they
stuff.
use the trails.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of communities have trails that people can walk on.
You think if they're just brushing up against the brush
Could
by
be.
the side of
That's all
the
you gotta
Sure.
do.
trails?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
leaves, even
Leaves.
leaves.
Well,
Yeah.
the leaves especially.
Yeah.
The leaves especially. People don't realize that, but you do if you have a little dog. I mean, and I do. You check them all the time. We've been very fortunate that, and a lot of people too are when they're spraying for mosquitoes, it gets the ticks as well. But it's
Use a flea collar for your dog, or
no. She's on the medicine.
oh, okay.
Yeah, she's
All right.
on the medicine, and actually, we've never had any problems at all. But I know raking up leaves, because Dave does that, and
Mhm.
a couple of times he had a tick. Yeah, not in, but on.
Just
Well, and that's
somewhere around.
you've got to check, and it is. Yeah.
So I always heard the best way to try to remove a tick, cover it with Vaseline. Is that still the?
Well, yeah,
No?
tweezers.
Yeah, but let's say it's really
yeah,
attached.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you got to get all of it.
You do, and that's why they say get as close to the
Head.
head as possible, and save it if you're going to the ER, so they'll know which variety. No, they
Really? Bring the
put
tick
it
with
in a
you?
plastic bag and take it with you.
Yeah, there's
and
more than
they'll-
one kind of tick.
Well, it's kind of a tick, yeah,
Yeah.
because there are I think this year we had a new.
Variety?
I was going to say breed, but that's dogs and cats. A new variety of ticks this year. Yeah.
That's funny, because I had ticks taken off of me as a kid all the time.
Yeah.
And we said, once you got it taken off of you, okay, you're fine.
Well,
You never went to the ER after that.
Well, yeah.
Well, most
yeah.
of the time you were fine.
Yeah.
If you got a tick on you, it doesn't mean that it has
That
dug
it has
in
one-
or
yeah.
gotten into your blood or anything like
Right,
that.
yeah.
You just pull it off. But
And they don't all carry Lyme either.
Right,
right.
That's
Exactly.
why they should say bring it with you, because then we'll know if they.
the funny thing is
Yeah.
when we lived on Katrina Road and had the farm basically
Well,
with,
sure.
with the horses and
Yeah.
the barn, we didn't have ticks or mosquitoes at our place. Everybody around us had ticks and mosquitoes, and it was spraying and this
Yeah.
and that. We had bats.
Bats take
The
care
bats.
of
The
it.
bats,
So
would
the
be
bats
in the barn.
eat. See, I was under the impression that not too many critters ate the ticks, except they said turkeys, wild turkeys do.
Bats do.
And bats do.
Turkeys, we had a lot of wild
Yeah.
turkeys. So
Wild
that was probably part of
turkeys
it.
do, yeah.
And a lot of barn swallows.
Barn swallows,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
They
we
would
didn't
get
have-
they'd get the mosquitoes too.
Yeah, we didn't have mosquitoes or
Yeah.
ticks.
Yeah,
But I still ended up with Lyme disease once.
you did. You did. Yeah.
And then my doctor said I must have been from going out on trail rides. You know,
Oh,
so
that's
you're out on
right.
the
Of course,
trail
you're out
and
on the
you're
trail
brushing
and you're
up
brushing up
trees
against
and-
stuff.
and-
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure. Do horses get Lyme?
Yes,
Or do they?
they
Well,
can.
see, in my little dog, a lot of dogs get the Lyme vaccine too,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of help. Yeah. So they do, huh?
Yeah,
They do.
They can. Yeah.
My sister and her husband live on Prudence Island. Huge deer population.
Yes.
Huge.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
every night you got to check
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for ticks, just in case.
Yeah.
It's all wooded area
Yeah.
out there on the island. I had an issue. I was very young, first grade, and getting ready for school, and my mother's brushing my hair. She hit something in the back of my head. Now I don't think they wanted to scare me.
Yeah.
But they said it was really like, yikes! This is go to the ER
Yeah.
to get this thing removed. We're not even going to try. It had been on there probably all night,
Right. Sure.
and so they had to get out like
Yeah.
scalpels and things.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
really scared, and then I had to go to school. Can you believe
Well,
that?
they didn't even give you a day off.
No,
for
no,
your
I
trauma.
didn't get a day off. We went in there real early, so it had to be like 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So they weren't very busy yet. So they get in,
Yeah.
took care of it. Right now I had to go to school,
Yeah, but you're a tough guy.
and I was late. That's for school. I said, "What can I just go
They
home?"
made you tardy. Besides,
I was tardy too.
I-
So,
you have to stay for detention.
Gee.
well, we didn't have that in elementary school.
No, but it was on his permanent record that he was tardy.
That I was tardy that day.
Remember that?
You're right. You're right. All right. There have been dozens of UFO sightings across New York so far this year. The entire state.
Uh-huh.
That's where they're concentrating. According to the National UFO Reporting Center, there have been 66 reports of unidentified flying objects across the state. The reports come from Manhattan, all the way up to Rochester, and many other locations. There were 6 UFO sightings in June alone, with one person reporting they saw a metallic ball fly slightly under their airplane while flying over New York City. The truth is out there, right?
Whoa.
The truth is out there.
Isn't that the
listen to the History Channel?
X-Files.
I don't know if it's X-Files
Is that what they used to
or-
say? The truth is out there?
I don't know. I didn't watch that.
No,
But
okay.
There is another thing on the History Channel where the guy says the truth is out there.
All right.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see. But I don't. Not that I've seen anything.
No.
But I have looked up in the sky one time, and you actually see a lot more shooting stars if you take the time to keep watching.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that streak across the sky, so that's pretty cool.
It is.
No one stopped and said hello, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that day. All right, let's take a break here on Coffee In. We got another medical issue to get to. Linda can fill us in on all this.
Oh, no. One would hope. Oh, boy,
when we
I
come back
put
here,
my cap on.
here on the Coffee In program.
First news, best music. This is ON Radio.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
Peter, Jorge, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak. No.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobile One full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. ON Radio.
The large person, 15. This is Coffee In. I'm Joe Callahan here with Ed Crew and Linda Tebow. We just talked about the story I read yesterday that an archaeological dig in northern England found a 2,000-year-old pair of shoes. They believe it belonged to a man, and they said it was. They measured it. I think it's like 11 and a half inches long. That in U.S. that converts to a size 15 foot. Wow. That's a large individual that had that pair of shoes. So
Wow.
so
Doesn't it make you wonder, though, how do they know what
How
Shoes
could it
look
date it?
like 2,000 years ago. I didn't even know they had shoes 2,000.
Oh, well,
They wore sandals, I think.
maybe that's what they were.
Yeah.
I don't know. They said it has something to do with the Roman Empire, so. And they had shoes.
Oh, all right. Okay, they had. Well,
It didn't say Tom McCann on it.
It did not. That's what I said. The Nike swoosh was not there. So. But if you ever watched the TV show Naked and Afraid, and
Okay.
the people that are on it, they usually don't do this, but I saw it happen one time. They actually crafted shoes for themselves. I said that was pretty smart, and they found twine and large pieces of bark
yeah.
from trees, and they made shoes for themselves to make it easier to walk wherever they had to walk. I said, this is the smartest couple I've ever seen. Because every time I watch the show afterwards, no one ever makes shoes for
Are
themselves.
they really?
Well, they made it.
Well, no, but I mean, would you really want to be naked? I often wonder why.
They do ask people, why do you do this?
Why?
It's like, why do you climb Mount Everest? Well, because it's there.
I know.
And they want to put themselves in this incredible, dangerous environment to see if they can make it through.
But naked and afraid.
Right.
You can't be afraid with clothes on.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes they fashion clothes for themselves.
Do they?
They
Do
do.
they?
They take
Yeah.
like the first day.
They probably had clothes and left them home.
They do.
Yeah.
That's well, no, they don't. They don't
No,
leave
but
them at home.
that whole premise of that show, I'm like, like they have Survivor.
Yeah.
The Greatest Race.
But these people said we're going to take it a step further. Make them like Adam and Eve, I guess, and put them in these incredibly toxic environments of incredible weather with bad animals around.
Yeah. I know.
And
I've seen that
see
part,
how you can see if you can survive for what is it 21 days now? I think it's 21.
I just see the clips.
It used to be they had to get from one point to another point, and then they changed it and said, okay, you're here, and you need to stay here for the 3 weeks. So just survive being here, and then on the last day, then they get a map to get to wherever they got to go to get on the boat to bring them back to civilization. Now the thing you have to keep remembering is the film crew is right there.
Yeah, right.
And if something really goes wrong,
Yeah.
and stuff has really gone wrong, where I've seen someone trip into the fire, they had to call the doctor.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're forced to quit because we really need to get you to a hospital, or you're going to die.
Yeah.
So, anyway, away from that.
No, that particular one I find interesting. But if you said they made shoes and then they made some clothes, they're being really creative.
They only wanted to make shoes.
Oh, they
because
only
the
wanted
walk
to make
was going to be
shoes?
tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
All right, Linda.
Yes.
Sleeping with the lights on could increase chances of heart disease.
Really?
Well, in a yet-to-be peer-reviewed study out of Australia, researchers found that people who slept near the brightest lights had the highest risk of heart failure, heart attacks, and stroke. They theorized that the light disrupts circadian rhythm,
The sleep
leading to
pattern.
possible adverse effects.
Yeah,
But
that's
your
the only
eyes
thing
are closed, and
well,
But the light still gets in?
All the sleep people say,
Make it
before you
dark.
go to bed, stay away from, using your phone or
Oh, I've read that.
tablet
Stay away
or-
from your screen.
or the screens a lot so that you can settle in, and that you get best sleep in a dark environment because, I guess if you think about it, many moons ago, when we didn't have clothes and stuff, you stayed awake in the daytime.
The sun went
There
down.
were
you went
no
to sleep.
lights. There
Yeah.
no were lights.
Yeah.
And so now it's dark. Oh, now we sleep.
Yeah.
And it probably gets a throwback to that. But sometimes, and as it said, not peer reviewed yet.
Right.
Not
Not yet. It's
yet. It's a
Not
theory.
yet, right.
It's a theory, and it sometimes.
Theories don't pan out.
Well, yeah. Sometimes it fascinates me that what people are looking at,
And what's the
and why.
what's the intensity of the light?
Right.
Are we looking at these lights above
Right.
us like this, or are you looking at something small,
Yeah.
like a nightlight?
Yeah. Yeah.
And does it same thing? Are
Yeah.
you still at risk with something small, or are we talking
Yeah.
about bright
Yeah.
lights?
It's interesting. I did not hear about that research study.
Okay.
And as yet, it's a theory.
It is a theory. Now, you might be surprised at or not surprised at this.
A lot of vegetarians, they do it for healthy reasons, but also because they were animal lovers.
Yeah.
And so they don't eat anything with a face,
Vegetarians were also less likely to care about conformity and maintaining social traditions. They're real rebels, according to the story. Maybe.
Maybe.
So,
Maybe.
do you know any vegetarians, Linda?
Not really.
Ed?
One.
You do?
That I can think of.
One you can think of. Okay.
A real diehard vegetarian.
Yeah.
Do they try to convert you over?
Not a chance.
I mean, they could try. It may not work, but.
No, they haven't tried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you hear of some vegetarians that like a good steak every now and then, so that's why I said that they die hard.
All right. Well, yesterday was the end of an era down at Walt Disney World. The Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer's Island have closed.
Oh.
Well, they're doing it for a reason.
Why?
Well, there's a new land coming, and they're going to put it there.
Oh.
So
okay.
they're gonna that whole river where the big paddle boat was. All right. They're going to drain the water out of there, and then they're doing a new from the movie Cars. A new Cars land is coming, and so it's going to be a ride of some sort where you race on the cars. Yeah. So they're going to call it.
That movie was cool.
They're going to call it Piston Peak National Park, sponsored by the Pixar franchise. So, those two attractions are closed. I can't remember the last time I went over to Tom Sawyer's Island because there wasn't much to do on there. Once you get over there, walk around, see a few things. Maybe the kids. There might be a cave or two that the kids might like going into.
There with the kids at all.
You got on the raft.
Yeah.
And they took you over in a raft.
Yeah.
And then
no, I don't remember that.
Okay.
Doing that.
And then the only way to get back was get on the raft.
Get back on the raft.
Yeah,
right.
and come on back. Although the riverboat ride wasn't bad. A little slow. But if you wanted something slow, you're looking to relax, it wasn't bad. So, all right. Well, that's going. So, do you believe the Department of Justice and the FBI? Now they're saying there is no Jeremy Epstein list of people that went to his island. That was always the big thing. And he killed himself, right?
Yeah.
All right. And he's a convicted sex offender. And now and people kept waiting. Well, wait till the trial comes, and then the list will be exposed, and we'll know all these high-ranking celebrities and politicians that are on the list. Because we were always told that there is one. Now we're being told there isn't one.
No such thing. Okay.
Makes you go, Conspiracy theories.
I was going to say.
It's who's lying, or who's telling the truth, whichever way you want to look at it. Multiple reports cite a memo on a review completed by the Justice Department and the FBI after being ordered by President Trump. The review also confirmed the disgraced financier did die by suicide. Supporters of President Trump and some of his cabinet members had questioned the official story about Epstein's death in the past. Elon Musk has claimed in a post on X that Trump was in the alleged Epstein files, but later deleted that post. So maybe that's why it's disappeared.
Yeah.
Good conspiracy theory, Ed.
Yeah.
And Ed, will you be signing up for Elon's new political party? The American Party.
The America.
I'm independent.
Yeah. Independent.
And that's where you want to stay?
Yes.
Yep. No party.
All right.
Beholden to no one, right?
Do you think this has any legs?
I don't know.
You got to throw a ton of money.
But he has a ton of money.
He does have a ton of money. And I thought about
if,
that, too. He's got a lot of money to spend to try to get this thing off the ground.
Anybody has a chance to make this work, I think it's probably him. I mean, I know there have been like Ross Perot and all these other guys that have run as third party, but this guy is the richest man in the world. He's got over $300 billion.
Yeah.
Remember John Anderson?
Yeah,
when
I
he
remember
ran for
John
president?
Anderson. Sure. Yeah. There have been others, but they didn't have
the money.
They didn't have the money behind them. And
Perot did for
better.
Perot
had money, but not like Not like
Musk.
this.
But Musk can't run for president, so.
No, he can't.
No,
so
we can't.
I wonder who he would. would choose.
Well, according to what I've read so far, is he's not really interested in putting somebody for president.
No.
His theory is if he can
Congress?
get, I think it's two to four people into the Senate and 8 to 10 people into the House,
Okay.
they can stop the political parties from doing stupid crap.
Yeah.
All right, but doesn't that also mean nothing will get done?
Well, what's getting done
Well, I don't know.
on a regular basis,
Yeah. I don't know. All right, we'll see if it goes anywhere, if it gets off the ground, if other politicians decide to join it or not. You know, I like being part of history. This is pretty cool that they're trying to do something like this. It's been a long time since a third party has made a dent into anything.
Well, right. You know, that's the thing. But the two parties, you know, you're right. You know, nothing gets done because they don't know how to collaborate anymore.
It's now if we're bringing in a third
It's not like,
person.
30, 40 years ago
They
when
used to
they'd
know.
fight all day, and then, Tip O'Neill was...
Oh, go out for drinks afterwards,
Yeah,
yeah.
they'd go out and have a few beers.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
The next morning they'd come back and they'd iron it all out.
Yeah.
Or probably ironed it all out
Well,
over the
and
beers.
they learn that, you know, compromise a little bit.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, now
I'll
it's-
give this, you give
Everything
that.
is so
kinda.
partisan, and everybody
It's
is like,
that-
I'm right and you're wrong, and I
Exactly.
don't want to hear it.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 All right. Sad story out of Florida. A man, trying to do a good thing. An elderly man's dead after he tried to rescue a turtle from a busy highway. The
yeah.
turtle's trying to cross the street, and so he's getting out. I don't know if he's
Yeah,
trying to pick him
I
up or what.
vehicle to pick
But
him.
the 77-year-old man from Vermont was hit by a car on Sunday. The accident happened in the southbound lane on Route 95. Florida Highway Patrol says the vehicle that hit the man tried to slow down but was struck from behind and lost control. I guess he was trying to stop and then he got hit from behind. All right. Drivers were at a standstill for hours while the state troopers had to come in to investigate.
Yeah.
That's, you're trying to do the good thing. You don't want to see the turtle get run over, and they only move at one speed.
That
Slow.
slow.
And that's the
Slow
way it
and
is.
slow, Yeah.
I was up in Maine and I was driving behind my son, and he stopped on a road, and then threw his emergency flashers on, but he didn't pull over. And eventually, I saw it. Here come the geese
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And then he told me later when we got to our destination, I'm supposed to put on my flashers too, and then everybody else behind you.
Behind you. Will.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Being from out of state, I said I
Yeah.
don't know the rules on
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
But it's to tell it's to keep telling the people behind you, there's an animal crossing the road.
Yeah.
That's another unwritten rule
Okay.
of the state.
Well, there, like where I skate in Concord, Massachusetts, and it's in the, you have to go do a lot of country road, and there is a sign, "Go slow, turtles crossing."
No, okay.
Oh, yeah?
So they actually let you know, that you're going to see a critter in the middle of the road.
I know. I
and
see deer crossing.
deer
often,
crossing all the
and
time
different things
too.
like
But
that.
yeah, and
Let the deer cross.
yeah,
They're very large animals.
Yes.
yeah.
It's like up northern New England, moose crossing.
Yeah. yeah, you
That
don't
too.
want- you
Don't
wanna
mess
do
with that.
You don't want to mess
Yeah.
with the moose. So.
No.
All right. Although my nephew hit a moose, and it did a little damage to his car, but not a lot.
Really?
But then the moose wandered off. And they said but I think he's hurt. And so what they had to do was call the Maine state troopers, and they came out and they took a look, and they could tell by the tracks which way the moose went, so they followed it in, and it passed away from his injuries. And so the rule is it's his carcass,
Right. Yeah.
unless you don't want it.
Yeah.
You're not forced to take it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want it, and he didn't, okay, there's a list of people that want it.
Yeah.
And they called the next person on the list. Okay, dead moose, this is where it is. Do you want it? And the answer was yes. And the guy came out the next morning
Yeah.
and picked up the moose and put it in the back of the truck or whatever he did and brought it back and said,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
we don't have that down in Rhode Island.
No.
kind of thing. So, all right. Oh, I don't have time to get to the other stories. Too bad. All right. They were good, too. we got to run. The show's come to an end. Thank you very much for listening in. Ed Crew, thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure.
All right. And Linda Tebow, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Very good. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do remember is coming up after the 9 o'clock news. And we'll talk again this afternoon at 2 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street.